Frontier Armory C-5 lower with the Gibbz side charging upper and the CMMG Radial delay blowback. CMMG AR9 system, that's just a guard system. Okay, I got here a Stinger handguard, 8.25-inch Stinger handguard. The brake, I forgot the SJC. The brake is SJC brake. If you look at the muzzle brake challenge, muzzle brake, I forgot who did it, but I forgot who did it. But there's a muzzle brake challenge 3, I think it is. The SJC beats everybody else as far as muzzle control is concerned. Right? So let's take. Here, let me take this off. It's side charging. Take the safety, or the plunger out. So you see, hopefully you can see, it's a CMMG bolt carrier. Let's see if I can pop this open for you to see on the inside. Okay. So I'm gonna roll some footages in of me shooting this bad boy in a bit, but here it is. So this is the CMMG bolt carrier, 9mm bolt carrier, and you know the bolt face is just like an AR-15 bolt carrier. You know, the weight is right about 12 ounces. Just 11.8, I think, is exact. But it's a lot lighter than a standard AR9 bolt carrier group, right? And you can look up CMG to see why it's different. But for you to get this bolt carrier to work with the Gibbz side charging upper, you have to buy the dedicated enhanced Gibbz cam pin, okay? And to get it to function properly, you have to cut the CMMG gas key a little bit. As you can see, I cut the gas key just a little bit, because what happens if you don't cut the gas key? See, the CMMG has they already made a cut in here for you, like a half circle cut in here, and you can slide this this cam pin in. You can take off the cam pin that came with, and you can put this cam pin in. But if you actuate it back and forth, you'll notice that this cam pin will hit the edge of the front of this gas key, and it doesn't seat 100% properly. So you still have to cut this gas key off a little bit, and it doesn't do anything with function. This gas key for all AR9s is just to be able to use the charging handle, the top charging handle. So when you're using a side charging handle, you don't need this gas key at all. You can cut it completely off. But I left a little bit there just in case I want to swap this into a different upper. Okay, so this is what you have to do to the bolt. Right. Let's put this back in. So on the inside here, what I had to do with the C-5 lower is that I had to remove the extractor. Okay, so there's a, I think it's this one right here. Yeah, this pin right here, or this screw right here, is this Allen. You take that off and you can remove the extractor, and I actually had to remove the feed ramp as well. So I'll roll in some pictures of how this thing looks. The C-5 looks standard, or you can probably Google it yourself. But you have to remove the feed ramp, and you have to remove the extractor. Okay. And I'm running a hydraulic buffer with flat wire buffer spring. So this is a Kynshot 9mm hydraulic buffer with the Tubb's flat wire buffer spring, and this is a VLTOR A5 buffer tube on we all know this is the Tactical SBA3. So that's basically it. It's an 8-inch barrel. It's an 8-inch barrel with an 8.25-inch Stinger handguard. And that's it. I'll roll in some footage. Oh, you can see VLTOR right here. Here's VLTOR A5. The reason why I want to use the A5 is because it's slightly longer than your standard buffer tube, and with in traditional AR9s, if you are running the buffer tube that's too long, what happens is you have to use a you have to use a stopper back here, right, or some kind of, people add stuff back here because you don't want the bolt to travel back too far. But since this bolt isn't an AR9 style bolt, it's actually AR15 style bolt. It's okay for you to run longer buffer tube. That actually helps with the recoil management. And I'm gonna roll in some footage as well with me shooting this bad boy with a suppressor, right? And you can see the recoil on this. I mean, 9mm recoil isn't much at all, but the impulse is different than AR-15 recoil impulse, right? It's just different, and I can't explain it. But what I look for, and I built this gun so I can shoot IDPA PCC division as well. Local matches, they don't care about your barrel length, so I'm just going to shoot local matches with this, and I built that as my home defense weapon and my range fun weapon, and this is my home defense weapon as well. So I can just grab this and run out and not have to worry about ear protection. But back to this bad boy. So basically, it's 8-inch barrel with the brake, and it fits in here perfectly. Those are the mods that you have to do to get it to work. It runs perfectly, and the footages that I'm going to show is you're going to see me shooting this and the recoil and how much the dot moves. That's what I was going to talk about. Yeah. So the impulse is different, but even with this guy, which was built to run, on 9mm, this bolt is a pound, right? And this buffer is like 6.5, I think, 6.5 or 7 ounces. Whereas on this, I'm running this bolt carrier is only about 12 ounces, and my and this Kynshot is 5 ounces. So a lot less reciprocating mass. And you'll see in the footage that the gun does come back on the recoil, but there is very little muzzle flip, right? The dot doesn't bounce that much, so you can get back on target a lot faster. I noticed that even with this gun, and with suppressors, basically suppressors help a lot with that recoil, right? With recoil management. But even with the suppressor, I was able to get back on target with this a lot faster, and I attribute that to the CMMG bolt carrier group, the Radial delay blowback system. All right, let's cover magazines. It was a little bit of a pain because I really wanted to use the ETS mags, right? These are ETS mags, and I do not recommend you use ETS mags. In the video that I rolled in, you're going to see that I use the ETS mags because I totally forgot to record when I had these magazines full. But as you can see, what I had to do to the ETS mags to get it to work. So I had to grind this down majorly. The ETS mags has a hump here. Let me show you. So this is an original MP5 magazine. This is actually a LE magazine, right? law enforcement use magazine. I got this on Gunbroker. But on the ETS magazine, there's a hump here to simulate these two humps right here, but it goes right straight across. And it also had a hump up here, right? A ridge up here. So I had one here and one here, which I had to Dremel off completely. And then I had to Dremel this to get it to fit, and this whole side as well. So the only way that this magazine worked is because I had to do all of this. Now I didn't want to do too much, and I tried doing the same with this second ETS mag. So I still cut this whole thing off. I didn't do the sides because I thought that wasn't that necessary. Oh, I forgot this backside. I dremeled some of this backside too. So there's a little ridge right here where I stopped, and I think I had to do that, but I didn't. Actually, no, you don't have to do this part. So on the second one, I only did the back and the front, and when I brought it to the range, it did not work. I dry cycle it at home, and it cycled fine, but once I took it to the range, it didn't work. This one worked flawlessly, but that's a lot of pain in the butt. So between these two, this one here is an original HK LE model, right? And this is a KCI. They're almost exactly identical, these two. And the KCI function flawlessly as well. Now you can see side by side, KCI, just copied exactly the HK, so that's probably why it functioned flawlessly. The fit actually, this fit a little bit better. It wasn't as loose as the original HK one. This was a little loose. This fit better and it functioned flawlessly. So if you're going to be running this, the setup, I would strongly recommend go with a KCI magazine. Let me show you function check. So you kind of have to tap it a little hard, but it goes in, right? And when you drop it, you have to, it's a little tough to drop too. Versus the KCI, right? A little loose, right? But it drops free. The HK, very loose. So you can see that difference. Very loose. But it functions flawlessly, and it drops loose. KCI, right? Not that loose. Drops free. And this other one here, it doesn't go in all the way. So even forcing it, it still won't go in. So you want to save yourself the headache, don't get the ETS magazine, go with the KCI. Best choice.